The only thing that I script is the intro. I read out a specific intro, and then we go straight into it, and that's it. That's done.
Okay.
Your introduction is, he's one of the key faces behind the development of the recently released Doki Doki Blue Skies mod, and he's here to talk about all that and more. That's... I don't know what... I didn't know whether you wanted anything else there, but I think that pretty much sums up your importance and why that's the only thing you're important about.
You can include that I've got a really big penis, but that's up to you, though. You don't have to.
Do you know, of all the things I thought you were going to add in there, that was not something that I anticipated at all.
There you go.
That sets the tone. Actually, do you know
I'm
what?
just kidding.
Maybe that will be the intro. Hello and welcome back to the Redcast. I'm your host, Troy, also known as Red Archer Live, and we're here for the 4th episode of my new show, where I explore the world of entertainment through video games, content creation, writing, and much, much more. As you probably know by now, this episode was available 48 hours early for my patrons before the public release on both YouTube and Spotify. If you'd like to become a patron and get early access to these episodes, just head on over to www.patreon.com/RedArcherLive and pledge as little as $1. And as always, we're starting off with a featured review from episode 3 of the show. And this one's a nice simple one from Stonky Boy, who wrote, "Damn, that background is nice." So thanks for the compliment. Really appreciate it. I'm glad people are enjoying the layout of the YouTube version. As always, leave your podcast comments and reviews in the comment section of the video for the chance to be featured in the next episode. But now it's time to start with episode 4. And this week we're delving into the world of visual novels with a very special Doki Doki Literature Club themed episode with a guest who's no stranger to that game. He's one of the key faces behind the development of the recently released Doki Doki Blue Skies mod, and he's here to talk about all that and more. It's San, better known as Sir Swampert. How you doing, dude?
I'm finally unmuted. Yay. I'm good. How is everyone? I'm having a wonderful time so far. Troy and I are getting on like a house on fire.
For context, I did, one of my toughest challenges with this podcast is I'm not very comfortable with recording around other people, and the intro is the only thing that I script. So I started reading out the intro, and then he just starts spamming his keyboard, bringing up a Spotify playlist, which just completely knocked me off confidence.
It wasn't Spotify, it was on YouTube, and it was the Hat in Time playlist.
Close enough. Whatever. I don't care. And it, for some reason, didn't realise that the entire time when I've been doing this, I could just mute the person if they were, making keyboard noise, and I should have figured that out. But yeah, so I muted him. And my life was really good, and now I've unmuted him, and it's taken a turn. But either way.
You could just leave if you want me to.
I mean, after an hour, you're good. I've got my use out of you, but, you know.
Oh,
God. No, seriously, thank you for coming on. It's good. This episode is one we've had a long time in the making, because you were one of, if not the first person I asked, and I don't know why the way I arranged it, you ended up being episode 4. Maybe that's something you should take personally, but I'm going to say don't.
You're just saving the best to last. That's what it is.
I'm hoping this isn't going to be the last episode.
Stop ruining my comment. You know what I meant.
I don't want to end the show just yet. It's gaining speed, man. I think. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe people don't care. Whatever.
Who knows?
Who knows? But, as I said in the intro, we're going to be doing a bit of a Doki Doki themed episode, so I think probably the best thing to do, before we explain your involvement with the Blue Skies mod, is talk a bit about Doki Doki Literature Club for the people who, for some reason, if they're listening to this, don't understand what the game is. So, let's leave it to you. How would you describe Doki Doki Literature Club to someone who doesn't know what the game is?
Are we going to keep it spoiler-free, or what?
Let's say let's give spoiler warnings, because at the end of the day we're gonna have to touch onto some topics. So give a very brief spoiler-free review, and then after that we can go into spoilers.
A very brief spoiler-free review of the base game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Doki Doki Literature Club. It's free on Steam. It's for those of you who are unfamiliar with dating sims. It's basically a game where you play as a high school student and you meet these girls at a literature club and you get to pursue them. Not in a Michael Myers way, but a cutesy romantic way. I just want to clear that up. You get to know them, and it's very lighthearted and it's a very nice experience if you're into that kind of thing. Even if you're not a big fan of anime, which I wasn't, prior to playing the game, I would still recommend it because it's free and short, and it has some interesting things in it that it's best played blind. It's one of those games that really have to play blind without spoilers. It's short and it's free, so I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, the way I always describe it is it's not what it looks like, and I leave it there because if you spoil it, then it ruins it. And I always wish that I had played it first. Yeah. Because I know one thing I want to begin with really is discussing how we both came across it. Because for me, I saw Jacksepticeye do a playthrough of it. I don't know why I've slurred so much on his name. Maybe I just don't like speaking about him. But no, I saw him upload the episodes and never watched it at the time, because around that time I was more into watching his stuff, and then I think about a month or two later, like, I was seeing how big it was getting, and we're getting into spoilers immediately. I'm pretty sure I saw some of the Sayori hanging memes. I'm pretty certain, and I was like, is that from Doki Doki? Okay, I'm gonna watch this now, and then watched the playthrough and went, oh my god, I should have played this rather than watched it, because it was just it's fantastic. It's
definitely one of those games that it's best to play by yourself. I played it in January 2018 when I just came out from Norway. One of my friends on Discord, he changed his profile picture to Yuri, so one of the characters. Which was really strange, because he had a vested hatred of anime. So seeing him change his profile picture to an anime-looking game was very surprising. And he mentioned that it was Doki Doki Literature Club, a psychological horror game. And I was like, okay, didn't really care. So I came back from Norway, and he was still talking about it, and I was like, that's weird. And when I went back to uni, we lived quite close together, so I was like, I'll give it a try. It's free, so I might as well. And I played it, and I knew that Sayori hanged herself, and I knew that Yuri went a bit crazy. So I knew that before going in, but the whole Monika thing was completely alien to me. I didn't know that it was going to be a meta commentary on visual novels, and she was going to be this self-aware character. So it was a fantastic game of subverting expectations. And what did I do? I went and created a mod that did the complete opposite of that. So DDLC was kind of made to like satirize the whole dating sim trope that exists for visual novels. And looking back, I kind of wish that we perhaps made something that was a bit more along the lines of the base game in terms of being meta and the horror side of things. But the good thing about DDLC really was that because the characters were they're basically like cardboard cutouts of the tropes they're meant to represent, it gave us writers a lot of freedom to kind of explore them and add things. So I guess that's how I started with DDLC, and we started making Blue Skies in February 2018, and we finally wrapped up in June 2020. So it was a very long development time, but it was an experience that I didn't enjoy on the whole, but I'm glad that we got it done. I'm glad that people are enjoying it, so that's it was worth it.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. We literally, I mean, that development path is about as long as the game's been out, because it was the game's third birthday 2 days ago. It was the September the 22nd, 2017 it came out. So, like, it didn't take you long after it coming out to go, do you know what? I'm going to make a mod for this.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy.
Had you done any game mods before this point?
No. Blue Skies was my first time writing as well. I'd done, like, stories and stuff in high school, but those don't really count. I remember there was... So, the very brief history of Blue Skies, which I'll try and summarize quickly, was it initially didn't start out as Blue Skies. There was a Reddit post for a mod called Doki Doki Literal Club, which basically was just going to be a dating sim for the mod. And I joined that, and there were 2 owners running that. And this was in very early February, and they dipped, and another guy called Jay kind of wanted to make his own mod, the Blue Skies mod. When they dipped, he kind of took over the server and converted it into Blue Skies. I mean, the premises were pretty much the same. They're both dating sims, although the biggest difference was that Blue Skies had that heavy emphasis on world building and realism, because it was inspired by Kazuo Shoujo, a fellow visual novel, whereas Literal Club wasn't. So that's how Blue Skies started out, and I joined the team in February, and then I eventually became a supervisor in March. Me and Britt, or Curie, the now director for Blue Skies, along with me. And then in July, we kind of overthrew Jay because he wasn't doing shit. So we pulled a Lenin, and we overthrew the government, and we became directors, and we kind of took over. And from that point onwards, we had all the power, all the control.
That's crazy. I literally thought this was your baby to begin with.
It wasn't. It's not. It's Jay's. It's just that Jay was like mod director or like leader while we're making the demo, so from February till July. But it was a case of me and Curie were doing everything and Jay was taking the credit, and we got really annoyed at him. And eventually we just kind of like, look, it's time to Stalin up and get rid of you. And he was like, yeah, all right, fair enough.
He just went, yeah, you're not wrong. All right, I'll go.
Keep up a bit more of a fight, but with two people basically calling him out for doing nothing, getting all the credit, he was like, yeah, you guys deserve to be leaders much more than what you do. So that's, we took over. And then, people think the Blue Skies was my idea. It's not. It's just that Curie is very, very quiet and she doesn't really interact with the community much. And Jay has been sent to the gulags. So
he's disappeared into the ether.
So Blue Skies is not my mod, technically. It's Jay's. But it's one of those weird things where it kind of is my mod or mine and Curie's mod. Yeah. Yeah,
because you and Curie were both lead writers, right?
Yeah, so I was a director, and I was so I wrote Series Route alone, and I co-wrote Yuri's Route with Curie, and I was also a director, which kind of meant that I overlooked the entire mod. I was responsible for kind of shaping up the way the routes would go, the choices, the themes, the characters, the interactions, that kind of thing. And Curie was Curie was initially our Monika route writer, but she stepped down to focus on being the senior artist, doing sprites, CGs, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she also wrote Yuri's Route with me. So both of us were very much involved in the development of the mod. Multiple roles to juggle. We also both coded. Initially, I only added expressions and stuff, but then I eventually learned myself to start coding in Ren'Py because it spelled the process. Because like otherwise, I would send a build out to the coders. Oh no, they would send the build back to me. I'd playtest it, and if there were like bugs and errors, I'd have to like highlight them on the document and give it back to them. They'd fix it. It took a long time, so eventually Britt taught me how to do it myself, and it sped the process up a lot. But it was a lot of work because behind the scenes, adding all the backgrounds, the sprites. So like every time a girl spoke and talked, and her facial expression changed, you'd have to code for that. So you'd have to write like show Yuri 1A, 1 referring to the sprite pose, A being the facial expression at a particular point on the screen. And if like you have multiple girls on the screen talking at once, you'd have to constantly do that. And coding was like worse than writing by far. Like literally, we're like 300 pages of stuff written, then coding it would take hours and hours and hours. But yeah, that was.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I guess once you know it, it's really easy to do, but it doesn't change how time-consuming it is.
It's easy. It's just tedious. The only difficult
like video editing.
Exactly. The only tedious stuff, the actual difficult stuff was trying to code some of the choices. I kind of left that to Britt.
Yeah.
But apart from that, coding was quite simple.
Fair enough. Because that's the thing. Because I know the creator of Doki Doki Literature Club, Dan Salvato, was talking when he did a stream for the 3-year anniversary. He was saying that he wrote it intentionally to try and make it easy for people to code it, and I was like, it's an interesting thing, like people getting their, because he was saying like, people who've written mods are getting their first introductions to coding, and I'm pretty sure like when he said that, I was thinking of you about how you'd still like got involved with it for Blue Skies. I was like, it's a nice idea. Like I don't have the furthest experience I have with coding was I used a little bit of, was GIMP one of the coding programs? I'm pretty sure it was.
I think GIMP is for art, isn't it?
There were two programs. There was GIMP and there was Scratch. Is Scratch the coding one?
I have no idea. I'm not very well versed in coding apart from Ren'Py, to be honest.
Genuinely, because I was in one of the last years in high school and they switched out IT teacher and he brought in a bunch of new programs. He was teaching like the younger kids, but they were on old computers. So I remember there were two he added. One was called GIMP and one was called Scratch. Now you say that, I think GIMP was definitely the photo editing one. It must have been Scratch. And I remember the furthest I got was I coded a little bit of Sonic into it, like a Sonic sprite that would move, and like Metal Sonic from Sonic CD. I did a little bit of that, and I kind of understood it, but kind of didn't. But that was like 5-6 years ago, so I basically have no knowledge. I don't understand the coding thing. I would love to, but
coding DDLC, like once you understand the basics, it's really, really simple. Like I'm not particularly code savvy. My talents lie as a writer, not as much as a coder. But I was able to kind of pick it up. It's honestly, Dan is right. Ren'Py is very easy to use, and it's very accessible. And the fact that he intentionally left it like that is very thoughtful of him, because the modding community has exploded. It's really been thriving since the game came out.
There are so many mods for the game. Like there's actually a website for them.
Yep, there are hundreds of mods now, all different genres, lengths, Doki focuses, tone, endings. There's literally so many out there now.
Yeah, which you didn't even put yours on the website. You made your own website. You were that cocky. God.
Well,
No, to be fair, I'm
sorry
messing.
about
Like,
that.
no, the website itself is really cool. Like, genuinely, I think it's fantastic, and it deserves to stand out. I've said, like, I don't care how embarrassed this makes you feel. I've said this before when I've live streamed it. Like, Blue Skies to me feels like it should be its own game. It feels like to me calling it a mod feels a bit like an insult because there's so much to it. Like basic mods, you would think. Like, I've played really dodgy ones. Like, there's one called Do You Lift Club, which you've probably seen. And people in my Discord got me like, well, we played a bit of it. We didn't play loads of it. One of the moderators live streamed it, and we all read it together in stupid voices. And it was just like, that's the kind of mod you expect. Like, things that change a bit, make a bit of a meme, last a couple of hours. That's it. Yours is like, I mean, how many hours are there in the end? About 30 hours, is it? Must be about 30 hours at least if you do all 3
It
routes.
depends on how fast you read, but I'd say anywhere between 15 to 30 plus hours, depending on.
I think it must have been about 30 for me, definitely.
Something like that, yeah.
I think for Natsuki's I read really fast. Well, we'll break down the game. Let's start delving into Blue Skies and how it works. So, obviously with Doki Doki Literature Club, it was a very, for most of the way through, it was a very linear game. So you did get to pick which girl you wanted, but the main premise of the story was pretty similar across them. You know, Monika becoming sentient and taking control over everything, and you know, characters died at specific points. Sayori dies in the middle, Yuri dies right towards the end. You know, it's very fixed. But obviously, as you can attest to and you can explain better with Blue Skies, you go on 3 different routes and they're all really, really unique.
Yeah. So we initially planned for all 4 girls to have a route. Obviously, we know that sadly Monika doesn't have one anymore. Blue Skies follows the premise of the base game. The first few days are very similar up until Sunday, while you spend time with a girl. If you choose to, because in the base game you can't hang out with Sayori on the weekend because she's not a choice because she tells you to hang out with other girls instead. But in Blue Skies you can hang out with her. But yeah, the first few days are very similar. The only real difference is that we have the Sakurai and Emi and Shuri as well. One of the things that I dislike the most about Blue Skies is Act 1, because it is very, very similar to the base game.
Yeah.
Because we wrote that 2.5 years ago. So that's things are very different back then. We were very inexperienced, very naive, and we thought, okay, just rewriting the base game was probably the best way to go. Looking back, we definitely could have done more to introduce the world of Blue Skies, and it's one of the things that I wish we changed. But writers will always have things to improve upon and learn from. So I'm not, there are some people in the modding community who have gone back and redone their past mods, and I don't want to do that. I think it's fine for a mod to have its flaws and have its problems. You can learn from that for your next experiences, which I am in the process of brainstorming with Curie, but we'll get into that later. It's not going to be a Doki mod, by the way. It's not going to be a Doki mod. It's going to be completely different.
Oh, I don't care. No, of course. No, it sounds interesting. That's good. Imagine if I actually was just that. If it's not Doki Doki, get out. I don't care. I don't want to know.
Blue Skies 2, bro. Yeah.
Blue Skies 2. From some of those endings, that might be a bit difficult.
Yeah, no kidding. So when the mod does take off and become its own thing, I think there's a drastic difference in like tone and quality, and you can tell that it was written at very different times. Which, unfortunately, because we started writing, Act 1 in February 2018, and we finished the one in June 2020, that's just inevitable. But yeah, Blue Skies kind of takes you on a very, I think, deep, unique route where you can really get to know the girl of your choice. You can kind of get to know them. You can kind of understand, what they're like in school, what their hopes are for the future. And then you've got people like Mom C who kind of facilitate MC's growth alongside the girl, and she kind of helps out here and there. And the reason why we added characters like Hara and Sakurai was because we wanted to make the world feel like an actual world rather than just a convenient backdrop for a spooky meta horror visual novel to take place. And when it came to the girls and their problems, because we all know that mental health is a huge focus on the mod, depression, self-harm and abuse, we tried to make sure that the depictions were as accurate as they could be. So it got to a point where I've spoken to a couple of my friends about depression, and a lot of the kind of conversations I've had with them about what it's like to have depression was kind of put directly in the mod. So, for example, one of my friends, I would talk to him about how there were days where he couldn't go to school because he just wasn't feeling it, and I thought that was a really powerful thing. I mean, it's powerful effect of depression is that it can debilitate you to such an extent where you can't even get out of bed, and that's why that was put in series 2, especially for Valentine's Day, because people were expecting a nice wholesome date there, but the reason why I put it in there on that day was to show you that depression doesn't care about anything you've planned. It will strike when it feels like striking, and it doesn't care if Valentine's Day, Christmas, whatever, it's merciless.
Yeah.
So, that was really fun to kind of explore real life stories and put them into a mod, and hopefully people would resonate with that. And from all the messages that I have had, people have said it was very, one of the praises that Blue Skies gets the most is that the depiction of mental health is perhaps second to none of all mods. So it's good to know. I'm also a psychology postgrad, so, that came in handy as well.
Yeah, that comes in very handy when you're writing about like psychological things.
I don't know if my lecturer will be proud of me or weirded out the context that I use my education for.
Maybe both. Who knows?
Probably both, knowing my postgrad lecturer.
That's the thing, though. Like with that mod, is that when I've explained it to some people before, they've got and I've been like, I say I'm not really into like anime things or dating sims. They're not really my bag. Then I like explain Doki Doki, and then say, and what Blue Skies does is it takes away Monika's sentience and goes how things have gone. And then the question I get a lot is, well, then isn't it just a dating sim? Isn't that exactly the thing that you don't like? And I'm like, well, first off, you're already in the world because you like the characters in the first game. And second off, typical dating sims don't tend to have you having conversations with, like, your mother, building up your character, having all these different characters that are involved that you also care about, that you're not trying to sleep with, to put it bluntly. And then also the most important thing is the mental health thing. That's not... I mean, I haven't played a lot of dating sims. I've seen a few. Like, the one that stands out to me, painfully enough, is Honey Pop. I don't know whether you ever saw that when that was a thing. But that was a game. That was anyway. So a lot of them don't tend to have anywhere near that kind of theme, and I think really that's the thing. Like, even though it does become more of a dating sim, it's still not in a lot of ways, because some of them, to put it bluntly, a great deal of them don't end with characters potentially dying. There's a distinction you have to make at some point. Mm-hmm. And the fact that all three routes can end with the character dying one way or another, which segues very well into... Because I want to explain a bit about how I got into contact with you as well, because when I first... Because I saw Blue Skies by chance. Like, honestly, completely, because I was not interested in mods for the game at all. It was not something I cared about. I knew there were mods out there, and I just thought, that's cool, not really for me. And I was literally, honestly, just looking around on Steam. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was on the Steam thing in my library for Doki Doki, and it just was recent posts there, how to install Doki Doki Blue Skies, and I was like, what's that? And literally just off that, clicked the page and went, let's look at what Blue Skies is. Saw the trailer and went, oh my god, I need this immediately. This, because right from the beginning, because that's the thing with the trailer, right from the beginning, it made it look like it was a proper, really high-end, polished game that, as I said from the start, as it ended up being, was far more than just some kind of mod. And a lot of people also appreciated that, because how many views does the trailer have now?
1.1 million, something like that.
And there you go. There you have it. Honestly, that is fantastic. That is so fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we expected the trailer to get 10,000 views at most, and it ended up getting 1 million, which is absolutely wild. It's honestly, we did not expect... We wanted the mod to do well. We wanted people to play it, because after working on it for 2 years, obviously you want recognition, right? People say don't make things for fame or recognition, and obviously while I agree with that to an extent, you want people to play your stuff. So you do want some form of recognition, right? But we didn't expect it to blow up the way it did. I think because Brit's the one that made that trailer, and she is a perfectionist just like me, and that's part of the reason why Blue Skies took so long to make, was because we wanted to make sure it was good. We could have easily, because our Natsuki writer bailed, and his Act 3 endings were really bad. They were extremely short and rushed, and we had to draft in a new guy to finish them. We easily could have released the mod. We easily could have released it in that state, and it would have come out in it might even come out in 2019, or early 2020, but because we were determined to give Natsuki good endings. Even though I don't like the character, but I thought people do. So, sorry, Nat fans.
Oh, whoa.
No,
You've
I'm
said
just
that
kidding.
knowing that Natsuki is my favourite. Excuse me.
Ouch. Sorry. But no, dude, she has 4 endings, man. You should be grateful that
She kind
we
of has
gave her.
5, really. I mean, according to your list, there's like 5 different ones in there, really.
I don't even know myself. Like, I had no part to play in Natsuki's endings. That was all Britt and Tiffany, the guy that wrote Haru. But yeah, so we could have released the mod in like January or February, and it would have been like a lot worse. We could have released the mod without Yuri. You know, we could have chosen to just not include her, but because we wanted to make sure it was good, we persevered and we pushed through all the sleepless nights. And oh my god, believe me, those were there. I'm sure if you read my note, you heard about that.
Yeah.
But I can explain a bit more about it. So there were so many times where, especially during 2019, where me and Britt were taking up the mantle to finish Yuri's route, because that writer dipped as well. And bear in mind that I'd just written all of Yuri's route by myself, and Britt had been doing tons of art, so we were both really burnt out. And that's when we had to finish Yuri's route, which is the longest of them all.
Yeah.
There were times where, you know, there were so many moments where I just wanted to cancel the mod, you know. But the problem was that at that point, we'd already invested so much that I couldn't easily just pull out. So I was kind of stuck, and I literally felt trapped, and I couldn't leave. And it was fucking miserable, man. There were times where
I can't blame you.
You know, you just want to say fuck it and leave, but you can't, because you put in so much money and so much time, and you've already made such good stuff. You can't just throw it away. So we had to just stubbornly push through 2019, and there were other mods coming out at the time, and other mods were getting so much recognition, and it sucked being a developer, seeing everyone else, you know, get all this love, and we were just like, when's my mod coming out? And the modding community, I'm just going to say it's toxic. It's not a nice place to be in.
Okay.
And there were lots of people who would poke fun at Blue Skies, mocking it for not having the Monika route, mocking it for taking so long to be completed. And, you know, when you're in these servers where people are saying, Blue Skies coming out never, Lamal, there are people saying, like, oh, it's taking, like, you know, 2 years to complete, but they can't even have Monika. Like, I'm not even going to play the mod. And it's just like, you hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
The positive feedback we get was very little because the mod wasn't out yet. The most we get is giving out builds to playtesters, and they were very positive, but those would come out, you know, not so frequently. So, you know, battling against all that, and also the fact that 2019 was quite a bad year for me mentally for other reasons as well. It wasn't a very good year. But when 2020 rolled around, you know, we had Yuri finished, and we found a guy to write. To finish Natsuki. So we started on a good note. We knew that the mod would come out in 2020. But yeah, that was honestly like there were just so many times where I'd complain to Britt, to each other, saying like, "Why the fuck are we doing this? Like, what are we like into?"
Oh god! But that's the thing. You got so deep by that point. You're in like a year plus, so like you couldn't.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. We were in too far that we couldn't leave, but we still had so far to go. So it was tough. But gradually, we get there day by day. And I just kept thinking of that glorious release date as the fuel. I mean, it did help that, because I finished Sayori's in May 2019, or March 2019, so it was much earlier for the other two routes.
Yeah.
And all the playtesters, they absolutely loved it. And I just tell myself, okay, just focus on that. Just think about that. Don't succumb to the negativity. And then we got Yuri's route done in like December, November. People absolutely loved it, bits. And we started posting the teasers, and you know, people would start to say, oh, like, holy shit, like, you know, Blue Skies looks amazing. Like all the teasers they're doing, like the text box changes, the phone sprite, the music. You know, all these little things that we'd show people, and it would build up the hype. And that's why there was so much hype for the mod when it came out. But it did come at a cost. Obviously, it had a huge mental toll on me and Britt. We kind of hate the GDLC community right now.
Great!
Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know, we don't like... I mean, I like the game for what it gave me, but I'm not... It's weird because... There are two sides of me. There's like the really bitter, cynical, jaded side that had worked on this for 28 months, that's just sick of everything and hates the community and everything. But there's the other side of me that's like, okay, dude, like, you can rest now. It's been 3 months. You can have a rest. But yeah, on the whole, it was pretty stressful to do. But I'm glad that we got it finished, and I'm glad that people are playing it. And the main reason why I wanted to complete the mod was because I wanted to prove to myself that I could pick up a new hobby and stick to it. Because I think we've all had that thing where we start a new hobby and then we kind of drop it because, I don't know, maybe we're not enjoying it or expecting progress that's not coming. So I wanted to force myself, look, Sam, we're going to sit down and we're going to write something and you're going to be proud of it and we're going to get it done. And I think sticking to it for 28 months was like a personal goal of mine that I wanted to prove to myself that I could stick to a hobby, even when things got tough. And they did get tough, all right.
Yeah.
So it's like a thing of personal growth as well. And also it's because I think, with every DDLC mod, it's like your own little story, your own mark on the world that you're carving out in the internet that's yours, that you made. And it's nice to see people's reactions saying they loved it or the band endings made them cry. It's
well,
nice to see that.
let me tell you,
there's no judgment here, dude. You are not the first person. Don't worry, you are not the first person, and you will not be the last.
But no, what you said there is like that's it's completely true. I mean, like, yeah, it's very easy to come up with a new hobby. It's also then very difficult to stick to it sometimes. I mean, like you said, like either mental things to get in the way or just other commitments or Corona. Me going to the gym.
Yeah, tell me about it.
No, geez, honestly, twice. I'm so bad with keeping physically fit. Like I'm not exactly a huge person, but I do want to lose some weight. And I was like, I kept motivating myself. Like, I want to go to the gym. I'm going to start. I'm going to go. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I went once, like last year. I went once or twice and signed up, and then just gave up. And then it must have been in February, end of February, start of March. I picked up the membership again, started going, went like 4 times in quick succession. I was like, I'm getting into a routine here.
Yeah,
and then everything locked down. And everything's opened up again now. I started going again, and then it's all going wrong again, so it's going to end up collapsing again. And I'm just like, oh, I don't like it. My university's been reported to have a number of COVID cases, and they're still being like, no, they literally emailed us out, like, people were finding out, and then the same day they emailed us, and they were like, hey, here's how you're going to stay safe on campus. I'm like, mate, no, I'm okay. I'm all right. Do you know, I think I'm going to stay at home and do it all online. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a virus getting away, Sam.
Yeah. You're completely right. Coronavirus has kind of put a stop to many things, because one of the things that I love to do is travel.
Yeah.
As you can tell, that's kind of a big no-no.
Yeah.
Because I love to go to the States, to Canada. States is a bigger shit show than the UK is, and that's saying something.
I was going to go to New York for my 21st. That didn't happen.
Honestly, dude, it feels bad. I love New York, so I'm with you there. It's honestly...
There's so many places I want to go to in New York. Like, I want to see the hotel they filmed John Wick, the Continental. I want to find the bar that a lot of How I Met Your Mother was set at or inspired by. There's probably going to be some Friends things there now. I've started watching Friends, even though I said to myself I was never going to do that because it never interested me.
Have you been to New York before, or was it your first time?
Which, sorry?
Is it your first time going to America, or
first
have
time.
you been
Never been to America.
I went... Because I worked there at summer camp teaching archery in 2014 when I was at uni.
Teaching archery? This is perfect. Hello.
No, it's not perfect, because the US has a shooting problem. Giving them new weapons
I
is
meant
not a good
archery
idea.
talking to me. Okay, yeah, I know that.
No, I'm kidding. I did archery at school and university.
Yeah.
I had my own bow till my parents accidentally threw it away.
What? How do you accidentally throw away a bow?
That's a story that we're not going to get into now, because it's a long story. But basically, my mum, I love her to bits, but she's a little bit silly sometimes. Basically, we were moving house, and there were a lot of bags and stuff that were thrown away, and my bow happened to be in them by accident.
Did you get a replacement?
I also went to uni in Nottingham, so it was kind of perfect. But anyway, so I first went there in 2014 to New York. It was lovely. I honestly prefer it to London, because I live in the south. I live just outside London. I hate London. I think it's overrated. So I love New York. I've been to America. So I went to America there, and then I went to visit again in 2016 when I finished my undergrad. And then I finished my master's in 2018, and I went back to treat myself. And I've got friends there. I've got a friend who I met when I was at camp who lives in Brooklyn. He lets me stay at his house for as long as I want. And he comes here to visit me every now and again. So it's a lovely little... transatlantic
Is it your
hotel
pen pal?
scheme.
Yeah.
I think you'd really enjoy America. Not so much now, but maybe next year.
Yeah, there's several reasons why it's probably not the best place to go right now.
Yeah. But,
once things calm down, I'll be revisiting that idea, because I really would love to go, man.
Yeah, it's a good place to go to. But no, I completely agree with what you're saying about how Corona has kind of put a stop to hobbies. I also love going to Comic Con. That's
Oh my
also
god, literally right. Like you've set off a nested thing here, obviously, but like no, I've only been to like one or two Comic Cons in my life, and the last one I went to was for people in the UK, the MCM Comic Cons.
yes, that's one that I go to. Which one did you go to?
Birmingham last year.
Oh, I was there Birmingham last year.
You were there? Oh my god! Imagine.
Dude, did you cosplay?
I did cosplay. I did a 11th Doctor cosplay.
Let me wait. Is that the one with the scarf?
No, that's the fourth. That's Tom Baker.
That's how much I know about Doctor Who. Right? Let me have a look. Was that Christopher? No, that was
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know the names, but that's about it. Yeah, no, I mean I might have seen you. I just didn't know. You know, you
20,
might see me.
20 quid says we walked past each other at some point or another.
Oh, definitely.
Like
yeah.
that is mental. But
do you have any pictures?
I went to that. I have pictures. I will send you. If I can find them, I will send you the pictures, and I will put one on screen now, so people can see at least one picture. Most of them I do not like how I look because I tucked my shirt in, and I feel like I've lost a bit of weight since then. But I had the most notable stomach, and I'm just like everyone I've shown it to has just gone, "Oh, you look fine." I'm just like, no, I don't at all. Hate it.
Like that outfit is so like I love long coats, and like he dresses really smart, so that's a really cool outfit.
I will just send you all of the pictures that I got from an Instagram post. But no, so the point I was trying to make was that was like the first one I've probably gone to and cosplayed at.
Yeah.
And after that I was like, right, I'm going to start going to a lot more of these, and I was planning to go to like the ones in, I don't even know, like...
There's one in London, it's the biggest one.
London's a big one, yeah. London is a big one. But I think it was London, I was planning to go back to Birmingham, Manchester, there were a few I was going to go to. And I started getting outfits, and I started getting loads of 12th Doctor outfits sorted, and I've got like 2 or 3 of those like preps now, and then everything went wrong, and I'm just like, oh, because I loved it. It was so cool to go.
Yeah, dude, Comic-Con is like, that was like the one good thing that happened in 2019 for me.
Literally.
I went to both London and Birmingham, October, November.
No, yeah, that was the point. So like when I went to the Comic-Con, I was like, right, I'm going to start going to more of these, and it all went wrong, but I love the atmosphere of it, because I'd only ever been, there was one ages ago, I can't remember where it was Liverpool or Manchester, it was one of them, but it was like a local one, it wasn't an MCM convention, so it wasn't one of the big ones, I don't think, unless it was, I don't really know, but I really liked it, but it was years ago, and I was like, oh, I might go to that again, never did, and then went to this one and was like, I've been missing out. I'm going to go to all of these now.
Yeah, dude, MCM Comic Con is. I was going to go to. So MCM for London and Birmingham runs twice. So London's in May and October, Birmingham in November and March. I was going to go to like all 4 of those, and then coronavirus was like, no, you aren't.
Literally.
So
they even got new dates for that. Like they probably haven't. They probably moved them because I think they announced some and then went actually. Because it's just a bit...
They moved Birmingham from March to June, and then London from May to July. Those got cancelled. October's been cancelled. November Comic-Con hasn't been cancelled, but I think now it's going to be, because obviously we've got the second wave. So I think cons are going to come back to like May next year, if then. Which is really sad, because cons are, like, as you said, amazing.
Yeah.
You know, cosplaying
so much there you fun. Go. Well, according to the bottom of their webpage, all of them have been cancelled, including MCM Comic-Con London, October 2020.
Yeah.
So that they're all off. That's such a shame, man. But
it is a shame.
It's the way it's got to be, because people don't wear masks. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Let's not go in that, because I will get very irritated about the behaviour of certain people in this country and beyond, because people just are not very considerate.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
It's just a mess. It really is a mess. But that was another thing, because there's an anime convention, isn't there? Which I remember Dan Salvato tweeted about, and he was like, I want to take my DDLC stuff to more conventions, where I should go, and I was like, come to one of the UK ones. It was like, even if it's an anime one, whatever. I was like, come to the MCM.
Dude, if Dan came to the UK, I'd be so excited to meet him.
Same.
I mean, the chances are like minimal, because he probably stick to US cons, because they have like millions there. But like, if he came internationally, dude, that would be. Just imagine it, man.
Be so cool. It'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to arrange something. I'd just be like, I'm a big fan. He wrote a mod, but we don't care about him. I'm more invested in.
Yeah, there was. I bumped into a couple of Dokis at Comic Con, and it's always nice seeing them around because the UK's Doki presence is like compared to the States, it's minimal. It's very.
You see, I think I saw a couple of people in the outfits, but I think at that point I was more like I was a big fan of it, but I kind of like moved on to other games and stuff. Blue Skies really kind of helped revamp it all, but like I definitely did recognize a few people walking past in like Doki Doki outfits. So, like, the one I saw was like you can see one of the pictures I sent you was one in a Life is Strange costume. I hesitate to put a lot of these on the screen because I don't know whether people would want their face all over a podcast. So I'm trying to be careful with which photos I mention / put on screen. The Spotify people are just getting like abused right now, but most of them don't even listen on Spotify. I've seen the stats, most of them are on YouTube, so it's fine. So hi Spotify listeners, we still love you, even if the fact that you don't have a video version doesn't help, but whatever. I swear I heard something that Spotify podcasts were going to start getting video on there. I swear I've seen that somewhere. Maybe they already have and I'm just not using it. It's probably more likely.
Yeah, dude, it's honestly... seeing these pictures makes me really miss Comic-Con.
Literally.
It's like, it's so good, like meeting people, getting pictures. I met Simon Pegg at London Comic-Con.
Really?
I fucking... Hot Fuzz is my favourite movie of all time, so I was like...
Hot Fuzz is a great film.
And I was like, morning angle, and I shook his hand. I haven't watched it since. I couldn't care I have, but it was honestly just... I got him to hold the sword. Well, let's go find the picture. Hang on. Yeah, so I met him, and like he held the sword, and I was just, it's so nice meeting him. It was
wow, crazy. That's mental.
He was so nice. It was amazing. So
he actually looks animated by it as well, which is what's nice.
Oh, he does. Like he's a massive nerd himself, so you could tell that he was loving, all the geeky stuff. Yeah.
My furthest one is I met Pel Mackie, who, I mean, how much of Doctor Who have you seen?
I know very little about it.
Basically one of the companions who was in it. If for anyone who's listening who does know, Pel Mackie was Bill in Series 10 of Doctor Who. I met her.
I know that, what's her name? Billie Piper.
Oh, I would love to meet Billie Piper.
She was with Christopher Eccleston, I think.
Yes, she was, and then David Tennant.
Who was David Tennant's companion?
Billie Piper for one series, Freema Agyeman for another, and then Catherine Tate for the last.
Yeah. But yeah, Comic-Con.
Comic-Con's great.
Cosplaying, all that stuff is so much fun, and then Corona was like, yeah, no more.
So yeah, but this is the thing, like there's a lot the Doctor coats I've bought, like I actually just wear them anyway now.
Yeah.
Like there is literally one, which I'll put on screen from Peter Capaldi, that it's like this old kind of like Victorian like frock coat type thing, and I bought it like that'll be great for a cosplay, and then I had it arrived because it was like a custom made thing, and I was like, I'm gonna wear this a lot. And I just wear it all the time. Like I went out today and I just wore it just because I was like, I just love wearing them. So I kind of need to for the price of some of them. It's ridiculous, man. But
yeah,
when you get things custom made, you do end up seeing price tags go through the roof.
Yeah, because I cosplayed the character that I was cosplaying in that picture was Genji from Overwatch.
Yeah.
I had that commissioned. That was pretty expensive. Yeah, that was really expensive commission. But the next cosplay that I was working on before Corona reared its ugly head. If anyone that's played Danganronpa, I'm guessing most people here haven't, but basically it's a visual novel murder mystery that I've harped on about to Troy before.
Yeah, you've mentioned Danganronpa quite a lot and I still haven't played it.
Yeah, it's the character in my profile picture, Gundam.
I thought there was like some like custom AVI of your own.
No, that's not me. That profile picture was made by a friend of mine. She's a really good artist. So the reason why Banjo and Swampert are in it is because Banjo-Kazooie, one of my favorite games of all time, and Swampert, favorite Pokemon, and Gundam, favorite character in Danganronpa. So he was going to be my next cosplay. I had everything ordered, the wig, the boots, the coat, and everything, but cancelled thanks to Corona. Very eccentric character. Very eccentric, very kind of crazy, but very likable. And he's a breeder, so he has these 4 hamsters that like sit in his scarf, and they're really cute. And there's actually basically I bumped into a guy cosplaying as that character, and we did like a little swap because Gundam looks like a ninja.
Yeah.
So I gave him a sword, and he gave me his hamsters. So we had a nice little swap, and that's one of the reasons why I love Comic-Con, because like you have these crossovers with characters, and it was just so much fun meeting him and all that stuff. yeah, cosplaying, traveling, conventions, all the things that were put on hold thanks to.
What a big detail. Like, we were about to talk about the fact that the mod made me cry, and then we just spent 10 minutes talking about Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's the problem with these things, dude. You can talk for just hours and hours and hours about this stuff. It's great.
It's good. It's good. That blows my mind that we were at the same place and never realized, and I didn't even know who you were. And at that point, you were still like slaving over the Blue Skies mod. Like,
oh yeah.
Like that was that's crazy.
I'm 99% sure that my friend Chris saw you because he was taking photos with doctors. I'm 99% sure that he must have at the very least seen you.
Yeah, he must have done. That's mental. Jeez.
Yeah.
He might have seen me because at one point I was waving around a lightsaber because I bought a lightsaber at the convention. That was what started me getting lightsabers because it was like they were selling like knockoff ones, like cheaper ones.
Yeah.
And I saw a few people wandering around with them, and I was like, I've got to get one. I need a lightsaber. I've never had a lightsaber like that. I need one. And once I bought that, I then opened up the door to me buying replicas from like the films, and now I have Rey and Kylo's lightsabers. And it's just like,
yeah, dude, you can get so much cool merch at Comic-Con. It's honestly like my
so
room. It's expensive, but it's so worth it. We moved house in December, and I finally got my own room, and there's so much con merch in my room. I have like 3 Pokemon posters in front of me, 2 Danganronpa ones, plushies, drawings. There's a really cool Breath of the Wild Link statue that I got from 2018 Comic Con. It's great.
Yeah, I've got like a few lightsabers. I've got items from I've got like Iron Man's helmet and Captain America's shield and stuff. I've got, and I just need to. I haven't properly decorated my room. I'm trying to get it set up there, so I've got a proper setup. Because the thing is, my whole setup is downstairs. It's a very weird layout because most people live in their rooms. I don't. I never have. It's just I don't really know why, but so I don't spend a lot of time in my room. So I never really decorate it properly, despite owning plethoras of posters and stuff. So I just keep a lot of it down here around me. But I'm trying to organize stuff upstairs. So I've got a proper because at some point it'd be nice to have video on the podcast because people have asked about it, but there just isn't really a good background for me to use at the minute. I mean, you saw the background I had on the Doki Doki Blue Skies streams. It was just me in just a random room, just streaming with things in the background, and I just managed to put like a couple of pop vinyls behind me and stuff to be like, here's something I like in the background that you can't see because the camera's like 144p, but it's crazy. Oh. Right, so let's should we direct ourselves back to Blue Skies. Let's talk a little bit about the endings of it because to me, right, because when I first played it, obviously we were talking about how I was very upset that you don't like Natsuki as much. But to me, because she was my favorite character in the base game, that was the route that I went down immediately. And I knew when I started playing it, I was like, I'm going to stream at least one of these. So I was like, I'm going to play Natsuki's, and then I played Yuri's, and then I streamed Sayori's. But playing Natsuki's route, I didn't really know where you were going to go with it because I know that it was like, will the Blue Skies remain, or what was the tagline? You probably have it in your head.
Oh, that I came up with that in like 5 seconds and it stuck, which is dumb because it's not even like remotely thoughtful. It's like will Blue Skies remain or will the storm take over? And what really pissed me off is that people were saying that sounds like a Fortnite quote, and I was like, fuck off! It's not Fortnite.
No. Oh,
I don't know, but I'm
just the word storm. Fortnite.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't sound like Fortnite. Fuck off.
No, it doesn't. And it's like someone goes, I'm a builder. You're building Fortnite.
It wounds my soul. I hate Fortnite.
Even I'm someone who still plays it casually, and I hate the meme status it has. Like, I only play it when I've, genuinely, right, what's dead funny about it is I only play it because I haven't got a lot of other things to play. And it was like, they started off doing a Marvel season about a month ago, and I was like, this is really cool, some Marvel stuff. And then Marvel's Avengers came out. Like, as soon as the Avengers game came out, I haven't touched Fortnite since it came out. I've logged on, a couple of times to get, login stuff, and barely played it at all, because now I've got a far better source of Marvel entertainment.
Alright, so to go back to the endings. So, Natsuki's route is a little bit tricky, because we had a guy write Natsuki's route. He wrote all of Act 2. You're starting to see a common theme here. He wrote all of Act 2, and he wrote Act 3, and then he fucked off. At least he had the courtesy to finish Act 3, although the problem was it was bad, really bad. I think we had 2 endings. One where the neutral ending, so the one where Natsuki breaks up with you, and that's it, and the bad ending where she dies. But it was very different because in the neutral ending, I think he sees Yuri going to Sayori's house, and she tells him that Sayori's having like a club get together, and he was never invited. So it ends on that note, which is very unfulfilling, right?
Yeah.
And the bad ending, which was more or less unchanged, although I changed a bit of the dialogue. And I still don't like the bad ending because it's a little bit too cheesy, especially when you compare it to Yuri's and Sayori's bad endings. Well, at least to me. Like, obviously, people are free to disagree, but
Well, let's touch to spoilers for a second because I was going to say about like my reaction to it because when I was playing, like I said, I didn't quite know where it was going to go. I knew from the, like we were saying about the tagline, like will Blue Skies reign or will clouds take over? I was like, okay, so it's definitely going to be Doki Doki. There's going to be some dark stuff here. How far are they going to go with it, though?
Yeah.
Like, if you play Sarah's route, is she going to hang herself in the bad ending, whatever? And I, like, as we know, she does. But with Natsuki, I was like, because, again, spoilers if Blue Skies, I really recommend, just like the base game, if you haven't played Blue Skies, please do it before we talk about, like, endings and stuff, because it is well worth it. But when the stuff starts coming in about the abuse from her dad and stuff, I'm like, okay, this is getting quite dark. And what was dead funny was my best friend, who she barely plays games. She's got a Switch now, but at the time she wasn't really playing a lot of games. I got her to play Doki Doki at one point when she was over at my house, and she loved it. So she's like so absorbed into all that. So I was telling her about the mod. I was like, you gotta play this, you gotta play this. And then I was texting her like going, Natsuki's just turned up with bruise all over. She's like, what? This sounds really good. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I don't know where this is gonna go. But then the ending, because I knew it was all coming to a head, and she was like, right, I've got to get out of my dad's house, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, she's going back right now. I was like, oh my god, she's going to go back, and it's going to something's going to happen. And then, you know, you wake up, she's not there, and I'm like, oh no. And then, like, that CG of the ambulance taking her body away, I just lost it. I'm not afraid to admit how much I cried. Because it was like I saw it coming, but it also came out of left field. It was like, oh my god, you've actually killed her. What?
Yeah.
And what was funny about that was, like, when I was talking when I joined the Discord after that for Blue Skies to talk about it, everyone was like, well, it's that choice you make at the end, you know, whether you let her go off to see her dad and pack up her stuff, or whether you tell her to stay. And I went, I didn't even have that choice. What do you mean? And I had, like, the complete worst version of the worst ending where I didn't even get to make that choice at the end. She already was dead set on going to see her dad. I didn't even get to intervene. So I'd messed it up that badly that I got the bad ending with no chance of redemption, which most people didn't get. So I was just like, oh god.
Ouch. Yeah. So we when we were coming up with like the ideas of Blue Skies, one of the things that we wanted to establish was, do the Dokis die in the bad endings? And we chose yes, because there was another mod that was in development at the time called Purist Mod, which does a very, very similar thing to us. It turns the game into a dating sim. And Blue Skies and Purist get compared often, obviously, because they had a similar premise. With Purist, though, no one dies in the bad endings at all. And we wanted to kind of we wanted to go a step further, because while psychological realism is very important, we still felt like it is definitely realistic or possible that her dad could accidentally go too far, because we made very deliberate attempts to make sure that he wasn't painted as a heartless, sadistic monster, which some mods do that. Some mods paint him as a psychopath, evil, uncaring figure. We wanted to humanize him a bit and kind of, show that the difficulties were not inherently because he is a nasty person. It's because he's under, his spoilers. Well, it's spoiler territory at this point, so whatever.
Yeah, we're already in spoiler territory.
Natsuki's mum is dead. He's struggling, and in these kind of big arguments, because she's basically saying, I want to move out. I want to grab my stuff. Of course, he'd flip. It's not meant for him to, kill her, and that specifically said that, he didn't mean to, but that's the approach that we took. And similarly for Sayori and Yuri. But the difficult part for me, for Sayori's very in particular, was because obviously there's a part where it branches off into the good ending and where it branches off into the bad ending.
Yeah.
It was difficult to make it believable because Sayori wasn't actively suicidal up until the end of the bad ending, right?
Yeah.
And what I had to do was portray a route where you can make a choice where things get better, but also if you do it wrong, it has to be a bad choice, but believable so much so that you could believe that she commits suicide. Because one of the worries that I had, and how I thought the mod might be negatively criticized, is that her death was thrown in there just to have her dying.
Yeah, because she died in the base game, if you can't at least do that in the mod.
I didn't want people to think, oh, she died because, shock value or for the sake of it. So it was very difficult for me to strike that balance between how serious do I want to portray her depression, because right before the good-bad split, right, there's that choice between I'll come with you to therapy or you have to do it alone. And I was thinking to myself, is not going with her to therapy enough of a justification for her to commit suicide later on? Me personally, I don't think it is. But that's me being very critical of my own work.
You see, this is the thing. Yeah, like I you saw when I was streaming it, I kind of was looking, going, this could be a big one. Because I remember you said to me, because the difference with Natsuki has about 5 endings. There are like 5 different endings. Most of them are either really bad or really just like, because like it's like, oh, you split up, and like one of them is like, oh, we'll get back together, and then a bit later it's like, you know, it's the girl you split up with twice. I was like, oh, really? There's like one good ending. With Sayori and Yuri, there's just 2 endings: the good ending, the bad ending. And so like, I think mainly that, I think that kind of makes sense in your head as to why there's more choices in Natsuki's route, because there has to be more choices for it to branch off into all those different endings. But for Yuri and Sayori, I remember you saying to me for both of them, like, there are specific kinds of choices that are the real like telltale ones that make the decision.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying that particular for Sayori, and I was like, when it came up with that choice, I was like, that's... Now, had you not said that, maybe I wouldn't have felt the same way. But I was looking at it going, this could be big. This, because it's like...
Yeah.
Because the argument is, and I remember you made it when you did your developer commentaries, because you've done live streams right through Sayori's route. I'll leave links to those in the description. But you said in there, I remember, that that she has this... the whole situation, she's been to therapy before. She's done it on her own before, and so... if you just send it on that same path again, then it's obviously going to end badly again. You've got to be there, at least at the start, to help it set off on the right foot.
Yeah.
Which is why I made the choice I did, and thankfully got the good ending. I tell you, I swear to God, if I'd have got the bad ending live on stream... For context, because since we're still talking about endings, when I did the live stream for Blue Skies, I did Sayori's route, in case that wasn't inherently obvious. And in the last stream, I was like, I'm going to do both endings. Whatever ending we get, I'll also play the other one. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, right... with Natsuki's ending, I got the bad ending first. I'll cry my eyes out, and then the rest I was like, okay, fine, they got the good ending. With Yuri, I got the good ending first, and then when I played the bad ending, I was like, that's really sad. Glad I didn't get that. That might have made me really upset. It didn't make me as much that. So I was thinking with Sayori, I was like, if I get the good ending for Sayori, then the bad ending, I'll be okay, because it wasn't the ending I got. I'll be all right. As you know, and as the people who are listening to this who have seen my live streams know, I got the good ending, loved it to bits, and the bad ending made me cry far more than Natsuki's. Because it was just gut punch after gut punch. Yeah. Not to mention, you kill her off and then have another day after that dealing with the grief. Like, so, that was just...
Yeah, so one of the things, I'm sure people have noticed this, so there is a lot of variety between routes. Like the choices, for example, you know, Sayori's is quite easy. Natsuki's is... like trying to fucking apply to Cambridge University. Yuri's it's kind of like somewhere between the two. You know, there are 8 choices for Yuri's. You're allowed to get 2 wrong. So it's difficult. It's tricky, but I think once you realize that the whole point is to make her be independent, don't simp for her. But no, I'm not going to say that because that word has been overused.
Oh, I hate the simp meme.
Don't mollycoddle her. You know, don't treat her like she's made out of glass.
Yeah.
And Sayori is quite simple to figure out. So, along with that variety, we also extended it to the bad endings. So, you know, in Natsuki's bad ending, you kind of see it right after she's dead, right? You're literally there as she's being cast away into the ambulance, right? Yeah. With Yuri's ending, you have that POV swap to Yuri as she bleeds out. And with Sayori's, you have that extra fuck you because you have a post-death day.
Yeah, that is just...
I had some people tell me that all the endings should have had post-death days, and I disagree with that, because I think if all of them did, the impact wouldn't be there. The variety is there for a reason.
Exactly.
You know? You like, because if someone got 2 bad endings for Yuri and Natsuki, and they kind of expect it to end there, and then it doesn't, that's going to be far more impactful than if every mod had, you know, a post-death day. So I wanted to change it up. And with, you know, I'm guilty of doing this because I'm sadistic, but when I was writing the bad endings, I wanted to have perhaps a little bit of hope. People think, maybe the situation isn't as bad as I first thought. Especially with Yuri, for example, when Sayori comes over to your house and she offers to talk to Yuri for you, you think, okay, you know, there might be some reconciliation there because, you know, Sayori is like really good at keeping the peace. She's really good at, you know, people, so maybe she'll be able to coax Yuri out of her shell. And I, one of my friends recorded his playthrough, and he got to that scene, and he was like, I don't know if we're on the bad ending or not. And I was just pissing myself.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
And,
as soon as you have to get someone else to talk to them for you, that's the bad sign, like with Sayori.
Yeah, and with Sayori's route.
Yeah, didn't you say on your commentary that nobody apart from one person, me, like had figured out that the mum was going to go talk to Sayori and was going to... Because I thought that was, like, to me, that seemed like an obvious thing. Because I thought, like I said earlier, like, if you're not going to kill Sayori off, then, you know, she died in the base game. So I was thinking, as soon as the mother went, shall I go and talk to her? I just went... She's gonna find the body. She's gonna find Sayori's body. I didn't say it immediately because I felt like it was. I was so sure I didn't want it to be a spoiler. So as soon as the sirens went off, I went. I knew it. I knew it. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it so much. Like that to me was a massive like red flag sirens going off. I was like, no.
What's funny is that in the playtesting build, those sirens weren't there. Those were added in later before what came out.
Thank goodness, because they made all the difference.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that we added between playtesting and final release. But that was one of them. But yeah, people asked me why wasn't it MC who found the body? Until I say it's been done, not just in the base game, but in countless mods. You know, the gently open the door thing. Like I'm playing another mod right now that uses gently open the door for a for not that scene basically. Well, like him and Sayori go to the club room and he gently opens the door. And I've said to him, please do not cheapen that line as a reference because it indicates, you know, a huge tonal shift from the base game where it goes from cutesy dating sim to welcome to hell, you know. And the fact that you use it in such a flippant, light-hearted way really cheapens it. And every mod that I've played where I've seen it, I say to the creators, please don't do that. We were guilty of the same thing until I forced Brit to change it in one of the lines. Because in the festival, when you back Monika and Natsuki says something really mean to her, she says that Sayori is a better president than you'll ever be, and Monika goes to the roof. There's a scene where MC opens the door, and Brit wrote gently opens the door. We changed it to pushes on the door because I don't want to use that line. Yeah,
because if it had said that, I would have thought Monika was going to throw herself off the roof.
Exactly. You know,
which I did think for a second she was going to do. To be honest with you.
Oh yeah, people did.
Which actually leads me on to a good, final Blue Skies topic. Because I want to talk a bit about something else in a minute, but. One thing I want to touch on, which you probably saw coming, was I wanted to talk about Monika, because to me, one of the standouts of this mod, just personally, because obviously I went in and asked a lot of people in the comment section of the trailer, went in thinking, is Monika still going to be, you know, sentient? Is she still going to be in control?
Yeah.
How is Monika's character going to come across? And to me, the way that she was humanized in the game and given, like, she wasn't given a full backstory in the same way, but there were loads of whiffs of things are not right with Monika either. She's got plenty of her own problems, and there are loads of things there. Which I thought was fantastically done. And then also, as we discussed, there was a Monika route planned that didn't end up happening, and so you put some like deleted demo type scenes in the main menu to play through. So what happened with the Monika route? Like, what was the story there as to why it didn't happen?
Okay, so all right, so we're a little mindful for time. I wish I could talk for longer. Okay, so basically, when we were conceiving the mods, Monika had a route, okay, and Brit Fury was the Monika route writer. She wrote all of the demo stuff for Monika. So the exclusive CGs, the Sunday stuff, all that. Brit had to step down to focus on art because she couldn't write both the Monika route and do all the CGs.
Yeah.
So we put out an advert for a Monika route writer, and we had a couple who came and went because literally the in-joke for Blue Skies was that, have you read Harry Potter at all?
I haven't read the books, I've seen the films.
Okay, but basically, you'll notice that in each movie there is a new defense against the dark arts teacher. The joke being that the position is cursed, which was actually confirmed by J.K. Rowling herself. We said that the Monika writer is basically like that because we had so many people come and go. It's cursed, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, we had a girl, I'm not going to name her, come and say, I can do Monika's route. And we're like, okay. And she wrote like 60% of Act 2.
Right.
But she was very unreliable. She wouldn't provide progress updates when we asked for them. She said that she'd written them on another document. And I said, cool, can you post it on the drive that we use? She said, yeah, I never did it. So it was very frustrating. And eventually, the main reason why Monika was cut was because she had the writer was suffering from some very serious health problems that are still persisting to this day. So she basically said that I can't commit to this anymore. And that was around the same time that our Yuri writer said the same thing. That's why I made the choice to cut both of them. Although thankfully we were able to bring Yuri back, because obviously someone messaged us saying I can write Yuri.
If you'd have had Yuri cut, there would have been a lot of people that would have been very unhappy. Hi, Alien.
Yeah.
One of my mods, because he would... I know, him in particular, because he has such a simp for Yuri. I'm going to use the phrase, because that is the phrase that fits him.
It's fun.
But no, if you'd have left that out as well, that would have been bad. But with Monika...
So, we carried on writing the mod. When we finished Sayori, Shaggy was making progress with Natsuki, and the guy that wrote Yuri's fruit was, doing whatever he was doing with Yuri.
Yeah.
And then we got to a point where everything was finished, and we thought, can we add Monika in post-release? And it was a maybe. I spoke to Britt, and we discussed it between us and the dev team, and we said maybe, right? Because our musician, Nick, or NP Bus, he said that he'd be more than happy to make more music for her. And I said that I wouldn't mind commissioning CGs, so art would be more or less sorted. But the problem was, I don't want to say this and have people think or get annoyed with her, but our Monika was Brit's creation, right? There was a specific vision that she had, a very specific story that she wanted to tell.
Right.
And we had a couple of people, one guy asked to write Monika's route post-release. We turned him down, and because I'm not going to name names, but because he's a very childish narcissist, he took it very badly. And there was a lot of drama that still persists with Blue Skies to this day. And at that point, we were just so fucked off with the whole idea. We were like, sod it. But then someone DM'd me saying, hey, I think I can write Monika's route. Of course, I was very much like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Show me an example of his work, and he basically gave me like his own version of the Monika route outline, and he like filled in the gaps, and the route looked really good. And I said to Britt, hey, can we, this guy wants to do it, and she said, no, I've had enough. I'm not doing it anymore. Like, I don't want to work on it anymore. I'm busy with summer school right now, so I can't do it. And I thought, but this guy is really good. And she said, at the end of the day, it's her route. It was her Monika route, and it was very special to her. So handing it over to someone else, no matter how good, obviously I understand it's a difficult thing to do. So, I tried to plead with her, but she said, right now I'm really busy with summer school, and I literally can't do Monika stuff right now. And by the time I finish, I want to do my own thing, which is completely understandable. She doesn't want to be known as someone that just does Doki mods, which I completely understand. I was kind of pissed off with her at the time, but then I came to realize that was just dumb of me, because, it's her route, and people want Monika route. I want it. Part of me still does. And I really wish that we added her, because our Monika would have been very unique. Having a non-sentient Monika, and you can read the outline that we posted on Blue Skies. You can see what it would have been like. And I think it would have been a very interesting route to explore. But sometimes in life, sadly, as part of game development goes, some things just don't happen.
Yeah, it is a real shame. But
yeah,
it's the way it is. You can't change it.
I think that guy who was really good actually could have done it, but it is Brit's Monika, and I respected her wishes, because it is her route at the end of the day.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Stuff is happening. But the documents are still there if you want to read it. You can still get an idea of what it would have been like. And Monika still features in the mod. Like in Natsuki's route, you do have a few very salient scenes with her. She does pop up in Yuri and Sayori's route as well. So it's not like we've completely ignored her. It obviously is a big shame. I do really, really regret, having to cut her. But if we added Monika's route from June, from time of release, it would have taken us like up until now to finish it, and that's just effort that we just don't have anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it is what it is. And I think that the mod still stands even without Monika route. But
what can you do?
For the Monika fans out there, I do understand it's a very, very crushing blow, and I completely understand that. But I tried my best. But unfortunately, it's just it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a shame, but there were 3 fantastic routes that we got, and it's worth getting that as pointing out that we did get those, and missing out on Monika is sad. But I just like the whiffs that we got, and even the demos. Like if you haven't played the demos, make sure you do those, because those are great. of the different scenes. Like some of the unique scenes there are great. But
Yeah, we did include all the demo scenes with Monika in them in the full game. So if you want to check those out, I believe it's in the extras tab. You can kind of get an idea of what Monika's personality and what it would have been like.
yeah,
At the end of the day, it would have been like her struggling with her parents because they're very, very, very overbearing, and she's like has to be perfect. She has to be the best in everything, and she was going to feel like the only real person in a world of fakes. Which we wanted to directly parallel those feelings in the base game, but without actually giving her self-aware powers.
yeah.
So it's
That's
been a
fair.
very interesting angle, but yeah.
What can you do? Not a lot. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that a bit because I know that's a lot of question a lot of people get, and it's still one like I'll admit, like I understand, but it's still I of course the same as you think it's a shame it never happened. So, but
Yeah.
as we've said, it's the way things worked out, and it's quite simple. And I get that because if I was in her position, I would probably be quite upset seeing something I'd spent so long working on be overhauled and done differently by somebody else.
Yeah.
I get that. I do understand that. I would.
It is that difficult position of it's your vision, but other people, so many people would be happy if you let him do it. And I didn't want to ask that question because that's a very unfair question to ask. So I thought, all right, fair enough, no worries.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And who knows? Maybe at some point in the future, it may end up coming back.
It's not.
I was trying to make them feel hopeful. Come on, don't ruin it.
Nah, we don't do Hope and Blue Skies, dude. You know
That's
this.
fair. No. Like you said, there's like I think there's 3 different documents that explain pretty much the whole gist of the story that are on the Discord.
If you check the Blue Skies Discord and scroll up a little bit in the mod updates channel, you have character Bible / notes, Monika synopsis, route outline, and route draft.
There you
So
go.
there's a lot of things for you to indulge in there if you wanted to have a look.
I'll leave a link to the Blue Skies Discord. If you can send me a permanent invite for that, I'll put that in the description.
Yeah, I will.
Nice one. As well as also, I'm going to link the PayPal for the Blue Skies page because I know you hate me promoting that, but I do think you deserve it.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
if anyone wants to support the whole Blue Skies team, I'll also do that. There we go, fab. Cool. Got that invite. Nice one. 4,000 members, blimey, very nice.
Yep. I remember there was a time where we were very, very excited to get 1,000 because it took 2.5 years. And then the mod came out and got like 3,000 people in 3 months, which is ridiculous.
I'd feel very happy if my server got to 1,000 members.
No, dude, trust me, you don't want that many people. Like,
Yeah.
we have to make a new Discord.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't want to seem like I'm talking shit about my own community, but the Discord was very, very different before the mod came out.
Yeah.
It was very different, So having a lot of people in Discord is very overwhelming. Like, I'm not a person that minds like interaction. Like, I'm not an introvert. Well, I think I'm like a mixture of an introvert and extrovert, and ambivalent. One of the words, I can't remember what it is. But I should know. I'm like student. Starts with A and ends in T. But anyway, yeah, I'm like somewhere in the middle. But even I thought that's too many people.
Yeah.
It's just changed the dynamic completely. So let's make a new Discord. But yeah.
That's fair. I think that pretty much covers everything I want to talk about with Blue Skies, but what I want to ask, and something you hinted at a little bit earlier, was I wanted to ask about any future plans you've got, be it with Doki Doki, with modding, with anything in particular. What's next for Sir Swampert?
So we don't have any more plans to do any more Doki mods, so we are completely done with the community. What I will say, though, is I think in terms of developer commentary, our Natsuki root writer, Tiffany, said that he wanted to do a Nat commentary stream. So I will have to message him because I wanted to finish Sayori first. So that might happen. There's an emphasis on the word might. Nothing's guaranteed. And Yuri, I don't know, because as I said in my development stream, Yuri was a group effort between me and Yuri, and those streams take a lot out of me, and Brit's very, very busy right now, so I don't know if she'll be around to do those. So in terms of Doki Doki, that's that. In terms of non-Doki Doki, that's a good question, because, working on Blue Skies, while I complained and bitched about it, it did give me a sense of purpose for 2 years, and now that it's finished, I'm like,
what now?
Yeah. I've seen Finding Nemo where they finally make it into the sea and they're like, now what? It's kind of like that. There are a couple of things that I've wanted to focus on now that I'm not working on Blue Skies.
Yeah.
Maybe drumming and kind of, that kind of thing. So I'm getting into that again, which is really fun. although I've had a mental slump with drums that I really want to get over and get back into. And in terms of writing, it's weird because I've discovered that writing is something that I enjoy, and I like to think I'm not awful at it. So I do want to write more things, but it's been difficult because I don't know how I managed to stick to Blue Skies. When I started writing like Danganronpa stuff, it just kind of fizzled out and died. And then me and Britt were talking about writing our own VN. That was going to be like I can give details. Yeah, it was going to be like a murder mystery kind of thing, because obviously we were very much inspired by Danganronpa. We didn't want to copy it. The premise is very different. I'm not going to divulge the details because I don't even know if I should be talking about it now. But we wanted to kind of explore the idea of, how people on Reddit like to solve mysteries together online. I thought having a murder mystery that takes place entirely on the internet, with the key thing being anonymity, would be a very interesting angle to explore.
Ooh.
But that's just a rough idea that we've thrown out. We haven't really spoken about it much because she's been busy at uni, and I've been busy doing fuck all. So it's something that we need to talk about, but it's something that we want to do. I don't know if it'll take off. No idea, but it's just something that we keep on the horizon at the moment.
It sounds interesting, though, and I'd definitely be interested to have a look at it. That's the thing with writing, though. It's a very difficult thing. I mean, I haven't done a mod like you have, but I love writing like little stories and stuff when I was in high school, and then I started trying to write. I like I mentioned before on live streams and stuff. Like I've spent the last 3 years on and off trying to write a follow-up novel type thing to the game Life is Strange, because I adore that game to bits. And it was right after I finished playing it the first time. I was like, right, I'm gonna write something to follow it up. This is something that I really want to write, and I structured all. I used Wattpad to plan it out, not to publish it on there because that's not something I wanted to do. But that website's great for like planning chapters out and stuff and organizing things. I think that's fantastic. But I've tried my best, and then I started a teaching placement in September last year for about 3 or 4 months, and I was going in early in uni and writing it, and then as soon as I started the actual placement, I just stopped, and I haven't gone back into it since. And I really, really want to. Because I really do enjoy the writing, and as with typical people who do writing things, you've got the plan in your head, it's just writing it down that's the problem. Yeah,
definitely.
So, but I would love to do that, but it's not an easy thing. So I can imagine you having finished a full one and having kind of battle with yourself, like I've got to finish this, to then go into another one is probably going to be quite the commitment.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm asking myself how much of a break do I want before I start writing something big. 3 months is a lot of time. Although with COVID going on, there's not exactly much time to do much else, is there?
Exactly, that's why I think I should have done more writing this year. I've had the perfect opportunity, but I've been like, no, Xbox, and now it's no Avengers game, because that's all it's been for the last 3 weeks. It's getting to the point where people on my Discord are literally putting messages like, we're worried about you, all you're doing is playing Avengers. And I'm like, to be fair, Discord says I'm on it when I'm sometimes not, because I'll leave the game open to do other things, but to be fair, most of the time, no, I am just
It does say that you're playing Marvel's Avengers on your phone, which I think, how fucking powerful is your phone?
Well, literally, I've got it running in the background now. There's like an elite raid type thing from Destiny that they're in right now, and it ends at 6 o'clock. And I'm like, I'll leave it paused. If I have chance, I'll play it after this. So I've left it paused. It's staring at me right now.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're playing on like an iPhone 50 or something. Like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, people kept saying to me, it looked like I was on my phone when I was on Discord. Hang on, if I close, there we go. If I close it on my phone, does that fix it, or does it still say I'm on my phone?
No, you're still playing it on your phone.
Don't understand. I'm on my laptop. Why is it? I think it might.
Phone, dude, own it.
It might be that it recognizes Google Chrome on a laptop as mobile, and because I haven't got the desktop app open, that might be why. Because I don't use the desktop app because I'm weird.
Yeah, I don't know. That is strange. But it's yeah, COVID has given me a lot of time to do things. Like when COVID hit, I was like practicing drums and like learning all the songs that I meant to learn like quite quickly because I just had so much time. But I just kind of hit a slump, and like you're saying with the gym, you start and you get into it, and then you just kind of stop for some reason. It's difficult to get back into it. I think it's because, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with like learning an instrument, but the way I'm doing it is I'm doing grades. So I'm currently on grade 3 at the moment, and I learned with how the exam goes, you have to learn 3 songs, and then you play them. I learned 2. I think the first song I learned to play was Sweet Child of Mine. That was very fun to play. And I'm trying to play a song an Aretha Frank. Is that Aretha? Yeah, Aretha Franklin song. It's like a very different kind of song. It's in 3/4. I won't bore you too much with the whole time signature malarkey because I don't get it myself, to be honest.
I understand most of it.
Okay, yeah. So it's like, it's a different time signature and it's a swung feel. So it's very different to the basic 4/4 rock groove that you get in Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
So it's been quite difficult, and I think, learning something difficult and it's difficult, it can be very off-putting. And also just mentally, like, over the past couple of months, just, a lot of people are having, mental slumps with things, and I'm no exception. But, it's just trying to, like, force yourself to get back into it is a thing. I'm really enjoying lessons. My teacher's really cool. It's just having that motivation to just finish something difficult is... And then games like Among Us come out, and it's like, oh yeah, let's play that instead,
Oh, man,
difficult.
Among Us is fantastic.
Dude, we need to play that at some point.
We do.
If you're down tonight, I'm down to play it.
I might be. I'll have to see.
Yeah, but yeah, it's I'm trying to see COVID as a good thing, but obviously it's not. It's shit. But trying to see the good side and how it's given.
Yeah, always look for the silver lining.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to stay positive.
And for me, that without COVID, I probably wouldn't have started the podcast.
Exactly. There you go.
Because I was like, because for ages I wanted to start one, and I was just like, right, you know what? You're sat at home, you got nothing going on. Make the podcast. Do it. Start it up.
Just do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. It's cool.
Good. Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing that without COVID you wouldn't be in that position. So it's just trying to see the positives and be thankful for them. That's what I'm trying to do. Because it's really easy to think, can't go traveling, can't go to Comic-Con, life shit. It's like, nah, you got a lot of time. You pick up, podcasts or drumming. It's good to, stay positive. Otherwise, how else would you get through this year?
Exactly. Oh, honestly. Right, I think that's probably a good point to bring this to an end then. Because you've got to go off and make some very important businessy calls, haven't you?
They're not business calls.
We'll say it is to make you sound very high-end and professional, like, oh, he's got loads of people asking for writing things.
Yeah, I've got J.K. Rowling on the line.
No.
She's asking well, no, bad choice.
Let's not yet. I don't think you'd want to associate with her, thank you.
Stephen King on the line. He's like, yo, I was really impressed by Blue Skies.
Stephen King.
He was like, yo, that nightmare sequence was kind of spooky, bro. Can you use some tips?
Bro, I like the Halloween section in Blue Skies. Can I make that into a film?
Oh, yeah, speaking of Halloween, I just want to point out, right, well, people do the playthrough.
Yeah.
And they get to all the characters who he dropped, and like Freddy Krueger or the Scooby-Doo people. You know what really annoys me the most, and this will always piss me off, is when they get to the scene where MC and Sayori pass by the guy with the mask and the knife.
Yeah.
They think it's Jason. It's not Jason. No, it's Michael.
I wasn't... Did it say hockey mask?
No, he's a janitor. He's wearing dark overalls and an expressionless white mask. Wait, were you one of the people that thought it was... I'm going to check to see if you're one of the people that thought it was Jason. I'm going to do it right now on podcast before I leave.
I'm not actually sure, because I wasn't... I think I actually might have said another it's Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. I might have actually said I wasn't sure which of the two it was.
Okay,
so I'm like check. Middle ground.
It's very important.
I'm scared.
Oh my god, dude, if you said it was Jason, I'm going to be... Hang on, where is it?
I'm scared. End of part 2 it should be, I think.
Hang on, yeah, I see it. Let's skip forward a little bit. Freddy Krueger, yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Skipping over my voice. I mean, honestly, how dare you? Do you know who I am?
Hang on, here we go. Janitor, Dot Leveler.
I'm scared.
Huge knife. You said Jason!
No!
Troy! Why did you do this to me?
Did I not say Michael afterwards?
Wait. Maybe you did.
Please tell me I said.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll let this scene finish before I judge you.
Please.
Tilts his head, yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Please.
Maybe he was a mime, yeah. Come on. No, you said Jason.
Do you know what? Honestly, I do think, and I'm not just saying this, I do think when I played the Natsuki route, I thought it was Michael, and then went, oh no, it's probably Jason.
Oh, this actually wounds my soul.
I think I might have done worse and gone the wrong way round and gone, no, it's not Jason, it's Michael. No, I went, no, it's not Michael, it's Jason.
Oh, no.
On that note, thank you everybody for listening to the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. Clearly, San hasn't, so...
That's heartbreaking.
Well, thank you very much for coming on anyway. As I said, I'll leave a link to the Blue Skies Discord, the PayPal for anyone who wants to donate to support you, because the whole team deserves it. They really do. I'll leave links to the website as well, because I think that would be pretty cool, so people can download it and play it, because it's great fun. And I mean, even though you've had the hell spoiled out of it for you now, if for some reason you've had it all spoiled for you and you still want to play it the way I did with the base game, because I still played through it myself after watching the playthrough, maybe you're like me, link to the website will also be in the description, so you can download it and play it. But thank you very much, San, for coming on, and thank you to everyone for listening. As always, as I said, if you fancy getting these episodes 48 hours early, like I said at the start, make sure you head over to www.patreon.com/RedArcherLive and pledge as little as $1, and you'll get early access to the episodes. But other than that, there'll be a brand new episode in 2 weeks' time. Guest is unconfirmed, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be another Payday 2 on, so keep an eye out for that. But until then, thank you, San, as I said, for coming on. Greatly appreciated.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun, except
Absolute
for the ending.
pleasure. Yeah, well, alright, well, shut up. And thank you to everyone for listening. I will see you all in 2 weeks' time with episode 5. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.
See you guys.